today we will start some more deep concepts in the .NET Core that we will discuss today. First, health checks in .NET Core, and also second one, that is LINQ, that also that I have discussed earlier the full concept of LINQ in my previous sessions. So you can go through that part. I will give you just glimpse in that. Some more details about exception handling in .NET Core at the controller level, how you can implement, and the global level. Logging in .NET Core, that how you can log your errors, your information, your tracings in .NET Core using Verilog. Logging in the database, that how you can log. Firstly, you can log your logging information, your errors in the file that available in the application, and also you can log your information, your errors, your tracing in the directly into the database that we will see. Then after that we will discuss the bundling and minification concepts in .NET Core. Then we will discuss about cores, tag helpers in .NET Core, filters in .NET Core, some security breaches in the .NET Core, that how we will uh, do some practices in our application to prevent from the hackers, and writing unit test cases in the .NET Core application using XUnit. So also I have covered the complete test cases part in my previous sessions using MS Test. So today we will cover some more glimpse about XUnit, some other framework. XUnit is the another framework. Then we will discuss some Q&A. So that is the agenda for today's session. Okay, so first we will start with the health checks. Health checks, what basically it is? Health checks is like if you want to monitor your application, that your application is healthy or not, it is healthy or unhealthy. Suppose some requests come to your application, or your application is connecting with your SQL server. Okay, but somehow your SQL server is going to down, you're stopped, or some failure. Okay, so you have to check your application is healthy or not in case SQL server is stopped or paused or any misconception happens. So how you can manage that, how you can monitor that part, how you can report that part, that can be achieved using the health checks. For this, you have to apply the NuGet package, that is microsoft.extension.diagnostic.healthchecks. Health checks basically introduced in the .NET Core 2.2 from the 2.2 versions and the then above versions. You cannot implement health checks in the previous versions, like in the previous .NET frameworks, and even in the MVC, and even in the .NET Core 1.0, 2.0, 2.1, you cannot do. It's a new feature of the health check that you can implement in the 2.2 versions and their above versions only. That how you can monitor your application, report in your application, analyze, visualize your application, that it is healthy or not, it is healthy, unhealthy, or degraded. Degraded kind of means it is neither healthy nor unhealthy, it is a kind of a middle part. Healthy means your application is perfectly okay, unhealthy means your application is down. You cannot if you do, then it will give you a breach, it will give you a exception in your application. So it will give you the complete analysis, visualization of your application. It is a very important feature in the .NET Core as well. In your application you have to implement that part. It gives you a real time information about the state of your app. It gives you a real time information, not the static information. Application often uses heartbeats. Health checks we can also refer as the heartbeats of your application. or health checks to enable their performance, monitor, schedulers, and orchestrators to keep track of the multitude of services. Basically, health checks provide three status codes, that is healthy. Their status code is 200 OK. Second is unhealthy. Their status code is 503, service unavailable. Third is degraded. Their status code is also 200K OK. Neither healthy nor unhealthy. So let's do some exercise on this. I am switching to my Visual Studio. Here you can see I've used the latest version in this application. If I go, yeah. So here you can see in the applications that here I have used the 3.1. So I cannot use it in the 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, even 2.1. It is introduced in the version 2.2 and the above versions, not in the previous versions. So any doubt in this till now? Okay. So let's see some examples. So basically, dot these are the some types that I tell you that health checks provided you a status of healthy, unhealthy, degraded. Also, health checks in the .NET Core health checks is of two types: basic liveness of the health checks and the readiness of the health checks. Basic liveness means you have to just open your. I'm just closing all my documents. Here I've created a application, .NET Core application, and in this you can see in the startup.cs where I have the middleware. So I'm just using this one and allowing the health checks here. Okay. First I will use the normal one. Here I have added in the container, in the IOC container, I have registered the health checks in the IOC container, add health checks. And here I have enabled it into the pipeline, HTTP pipeline. First I have enabled the routing, app.use routing, and then using the endpoints to use the health checks. Endpoints dot using lambda expression, endpoints dot map health check, and passing the URL health. Now I'm just simply running my application. Firstly, I will show you the basic liveness example of the health checks. There are many scenarios, many use cases to use the health checks in your application. I will show you just basic examples, then you can go through multiple examples. Just give me a minute. Start singing. I'm running the application. And here, it's loading. Yep. So for checking the health status, as I have passed in the application here, as the URL is health. Yeah, it's still running. Here you can see currently my application is healthy. Okay. So this is the URL. So this is the just basic liveness of the application, that is it's running or not. So even if I open my Postman, and here I'm posting this, you can also, here you can see this is healthy. So I will show you one more example. This is the basic liveness of your application. So just I have to check that my SQL connection is healthy or not. Okay. So I have in my config.json, that is app settings, I have added my connection string here. This is my connection string and this is my database. Okay. This is my database. I have to check that it is healthy or not. So in the startup.cs file, I can add multiple health checks. Control K, you see, I'm commenting the first part. Here you can see in the health checks, I have added the dot add check. So you can add multiple health checks by just adding the dot add check. So here I have added my SQL and using where connections goes to new SQL connection, and that is my connection string. Okay. And in the try catch connection dot open, else it will give the exception and put the status as the unhealthy, else it will show you the application is healthy. Okay. So let me run this. Currently my connection is open, perfectly fine. So it gives you a healthy. Right? Even you can post using the Postman. It gives you healthy. Now, if I want to check my another scenario, I am just clicking on my server and I'm stopping it. Click yes. It takes few minutes to stop. Because we have explicitly stopped the SQL server, so it takes some time. When it is stopped, it gives you a yeah. It is stopped now. It show you my application is now unhealthy because my SQL connection is breaked. I've stopped this already. Okay, it is not refreshing. Not a problem. Here you can see we will start it again. SQL service. Now I am again refreshing it. Now it is healthy. So similarly, you can achieve your health checks in your application to check monitoring and analyzing your application. Okay. Here I have put it all the details if you want to read it. You can also, this is the default status code that is 200 OK. Even you can see here, this is the status code 200 OK. If it is unhealthy, it show you the status code as 503 service unavailable. This is the basic liveness. This is the steps. Readiness health check. You can apply. This is the steps. Even you can, we have lot of inbuilt NuGet packages for the health checks. So you can also, this is the custom code that I have written here. This is the custom code. You can also directly use their own middlewares, their own NuGet package to directly use the SQL Server. That is .add SQL Server. Instead of this code, you can directly use the .add SQL Server. First, for this, you have to install this NuGet package and pass the connection string. So by this, you can do this and check your status. These are the some cases that how you can achieve the health checks in your application. This is how you can customize your HTTP status code. That means these are the status code. These are the status code. You can customize, means you can give your own custom codes in your application. So just you have to pass app.use endpoints here and customize it in the configure method and give your own custom codes. You can also provide your own health check response. Like suppose, like here, it gives only the healthy. You can also customize it and gives your own custom health check, the overall status, total check durations, dependency health checks like this. I can show you. Here you can see. Here you can see you can customize your response with more details, that how it takes time, what the status is, etc. etc. You can also apply in your microservices. That is the another concept. Just don't go into it. If you want to explore, you can explore it from your own. These are the some cases. You can also implement the health check UI. Just use the NuGet package of health check ASP.NETCore.healthchecks.ui and pass the middleware services.healthcheckui, and also and the configure method you can use the like this one, add health check UI, and in the application just put add into the middleware app.use health check UI, and in the app setting.json pass the UI. After that it gives you the UI just like this one. Just like Swagger, we have our own dashboard, so we can see the UI, dashboard of health check status. You can apply the authentication authorization in your health checks using the keyword require authorization. Cases that you can apply your health checks in your load balancers, in a Docker application, how you can check your application. You can also use the health checks in your deployment tools, that is Azure DevOps pipeline. That is the advanced topic of health checks. Okay, so next come any questions in this? Okay. Okay, so moving to our next, that is LINQ with .NET Core. As already I have covered the LINQ more detail in my previous session, so I will just give you a glimpse that how you can use LINQ in your .NET Core application. So here in the application, I have created just example. Yeah, this one. So here we have the context file that we have used for the migration, in which all the entities are available. If you can see, this is my entity, and here I have all the entities, that is customer table, contact table, test table, demo table. So all the entities are available here. So I want all the customers. I want the ID of all the customers. Okay. So here I've just used the DB context dot customer dot select x dot id dot toolist. So by this you can simply use the LINQ in your .NET Core application. Here you have to nothing you have to do. Just use the namespace using system.linq. You have to use. So by this you can use the LINQ in your application. Also, as I've told you the in my earlier sessions, you can use the linqpad tool for your LINQ queries. I'm just opening it. So here I have put it my connection here, or you can see all the tables. You can select your language, that what language you want to write in your LINQ queries, and write your expression that I already demonstrated in my previous videos, previous trainings. So this is the just glimpse of how you can use your .NET Core LINQ in your .NET Core application. So now moving to the exception handling. All you know about exception handling, that it's kind of a middleware in the ASP.NET Core application that makes exception handling easy. So by default, ASP.NET Core provides the status code in your own pipeline. That is, it will gives you an exception error. So while just you are running your application, it gives you this page. The page is not working, and the HTTP error 500. If you want to include more exceptions in your application, some more like use developer exception page, use exception handler, so you can implement by this way as well. So I can show you in the startup.cs file. In the setup.cs file, you can implement here. If the environment is development, you can directly use the use developer exception page. Developer exception page gives you a more detail of your stacks, your traces, your log info, more details about your exception. Complete detail means everything. Complete tracing in your developer exception page. In your exception handler, you can redirect in some your custom pages that you want to redirect, like some error view page, something. You can redirect it and make your own custom pages. Okay, you can also introduce a middleware. You can also implement your custom middlewares, global exception middlewares. Like here, I have created exception middleware. Here you can see. Here I've created my own custom code for the middleware for the exception handling. This one, and this is the model that gives the status code and the message that you have to register in your startup.cs file, like this. App dot. This is the page that I have created, and it gives you the exception according to it. Also, you can implement a basic exceptions, that is try and catch, in your application, like this. To handle the exception, try and catch. You can use to handle the exceptions using try and catch. So this is just a glimpse about exception handling in .NET Core, how you can apply exception handling in your .NET Core application. Any doubt, guys, till now? And one more thing, this is the Zoom meeting, so there is some settings and I have to look into that part. So guys, you have to rejoin it again. Okay, after 2 minutes it expires. I have to look into it. Okay, till then I'm moving to my next part. Okay, logging at application level. So basically, as I told you, you can apply in the .NET Core, logging is a default feature. But the scenario is, if you want to apply the logging in your application and implement it into the some logs folder, like this. This is the error. This is the tracing files. You have to apply the logging. You have to log the information, log the errors in the file. So I'm using some third-party logging providers like Verilog. There are multiple providers available in the market. You can use Nlog, Log4net, Verilog, Logger. There are multiple. So here in my example, I'm using the Verilog. So first you have to install the serilog.extension.logging file. This is a NuGet package. You have to install it. Then create the one folder, that is logs folder, in your application. This is the logs folder. And in the middleware now, that is in the startup.cs file. In the startup.cs file, you have to configure it. Simply services.addLogging, register in your IOC container, services.addLogging. Then you have to use the logger factory. This is the interface in which all your properties, your methods are available to access the. So in the container, in the IOC container, I have added the logging, add logging here, services.add logging, and in the middleware, I have used the logger factory, that is the interface logger factory dot add console dot add file. This is the path of my file, that is logs, that is the log folder, and this is the file that I will generate. So I'm deleting these files. Yes, it's created now. Here you can see in the logs folder there is nothing, there is no file available. So here I'm tracing my file. So log level dot trace logs and add errors in the log level dot errors with the date. Okay, so that I have injected in my middleware and my services. Now in my controller, like in the in my controller, like um, yes. So in my controller, I have used this one. Here you can see, like in the create account, logger.log trace, log error. I've used to logging the information, to logging the error. I've used the iLogger interface and injected it into my controller by this way. And in the constructor level, I have put this using dependency injection and use this one underscore logger dot log trace. Now, if I hit my application, providing the path that is auth and the create account. Okay, I'm just removing this one for now and starting debugging. Yes, it hits. Now it starts logging. I'm continuing it. Here you can see in the logs folder, there is a file that is traces created with the information. So it's not opening here. I'm opening the folder and add it with Notepad++. So here you can see the details that you want to log anything. You can customize with your own. Okay. So any doubt in this? So by this way, you can achieve your logging at your application level and at the file level. This is the logging at your application level. So I'm moving to the next part. Logging at database level. So we can use, as I told you, we have multiple logging providers, Nlog, Verilog, Logger, Log4net, Log4net. So we can achieve the logging at database level as well. So here we can achieve the Nlog as well and Verilog as well. So I will give you the example because of short of time. I will give you the example with the simply Verilog one. So here you can see in the program.cs file, I have configured the config.json as in the bundle and run the configure the logger file, write to MS SQL connection string that I have put it in my config.json. Like here you can see this is the Verilog connection string and the column options, this one, message template, properties, timestamps, that is timestamps it provide, convert to UTC false, I have put it false, convert connection string, that is my connection string of my database, this is the schema, that is DBO, and this is the table name, that is log. So here you can see in my dream part REG database in the tables there is a log table. I'm just removing it. So currently there is no log table in this. So this is the connection string that I have put and some configuration, and in the program.cs file I have put the write the log information in it using the connection strings and the table name that comes from the config.json file, and I have used Verilog. These are the dependencies that I have used. This is the Verilog that I have installed. Verilog.ASP.NET Core, Verilog.settings.configuration package sync up with the MS SQL Server. Now in the controller class, I have created a default controller, and in the default controller, similarly I have used the iLogger and passed the default controller in this, injected, and put the log information that is hello world, logger.log information that is hello world. So I'm just running it. It starts running. Okay, it is not hit. I have to make changes in my application. I'm removing this one as well for now. Yeah, that's fine. Yes. Now I'm at type F5 and continue. Now going to the SQL Server, refresh my tables. Here you can see a log table is created. So here you can see the complete information of your logging is captured. The errors, the information with the timestamp, exception detail as well. So by this you can achieve your logging at database level as well. So how you can achieve the application logging and put the information into the database. Any doubt in this? Okay, I'm moving to my next part. Next is bundling and minification. As I already told you about the bundling and minification, this is the that what bundling is, what minification is. Like suppose in my HTML, in my front page, in my index page, there are a lot of JS files, there are a lot of CSS files, okay, and I have put it all my JS and CSS file on my main default page, that is index page. So one first time when it starts loading, it loads all the JS files, it loads all the CSS file. A heavy load comes to the server, to the browser. What it happen? It takes more time to load the application. So it degrades the application performance. So for this prevention, we come up with the concept of bundling and minification. We combine the multiple files into a single files. So by this, it reduces the number of server requests that are necessary to render a web asset such as web page. And minification, what it minification do? Minification is in your JS, in the CSS file, there are a lot of spaces available. You have commented the code. You have put the comments in your JS file, CSS file. So it will remove all the comments, all the spaces, all the white spaces from your JS and CSS file, and minified the file in a single line of code. I will show you the example that how you can achieve the bundling and minification in your application. So this is my application. I'm closing all the documents and collapse the application. So first, here you can see in the www root, that is my static folder, that is the all the static files available in this. I have created a JS folder, and in the JS folder I have to put the student, that is the student folder, and I have added the JS file. This is just an example that you have added the JS file. How you can add your JS file? Just right click, add new item, search for JavaScript, and you can add your JS file with the same name, but only the name difference is auth.dataservice. I have added another JS file. So this is the one JS file and this is the another JS file. That means we have two JS files. Now we have to introduce the bundling and minification in my application. So how we can achieve? First, you have to use the standard library, jQuery library, that is jQuery 2.1.1.js, or you can use the upgraded version as well according to your need. So first you have to add the dependency in your application under the packages, that is bundle minifier. So here I don't have because I have added in my project file. So I'm just right clicking here, or you can directly install the package. Add the project file and add the dependency here in the item group. .NET CLI tool reference include bundle minifier.co. Okay, so by this you can add the dependency here, and then for the bundling and minification concept you have to add the JSON file. So how you can add the JSON file? Just right click and add new item and add the search for JSON file and add the JSON file. Make sure your name is similar as it's given, bundle config.json. So here, this is the layout for the bundle config.json. This is my output file name. Output file name is, I want the file name, the bundle file name is auth.add.bundle.min.js. I want this. You can give any name. I have given this name. So this is my output file name. This is the bundle file name. And what is the input files? I have put it, these are the my input files, these one, this one, and this one, that I have added auth.js, auth.dataservice, and the jQuery standard library. And minification के लिए मैंने enabled true and renames local true. So what I have to achieve now? I'm just right clicking and open folder in my file explorer, selecting the URL path, write cmd, hit enter. You have to use the CLI command .NET bundle, hit enter. So here you can see now, after running this new file is created, and this is the complete minified bundled file. Here you can see there is no white spaces, no commenting. This is the default generated commenting. So by this you can achieve the bundling and minification in your application. So whenever you change in your jQuery file, you have to just enter this command .NET bundle, and it will start again the bundling and update this file. Now you have to use this file in your index file. Like suppose this is my index file, and your file this is my test file, test.cshtml. So just you have to use how this one you have to use. So before you have to use this one, this you have to give the reference. auth.js, auth.data service, jQuery. You have to put 3 files here. Now you have to put only this minified bundle file here. So this is the concept of bundle and minification. Also, you can give the direct extension you have to use. You can go in the extensions, manage extensions, and search for bundle. This is the package. Download it, install it, and then select the files. Like suppose this is my files. If you don't want to run the commands, okay, this will auto generate. So this is my JS files. Just select this part and right click. It gives you an option to bundle it. Currently it is not installed in my system. You can do this by this way as well. So this is example of how you can achieve the bundling and minification in your application. Any doubt in this? Okay. So moving to our next part, codes. I hope you all know about codes. Codes is just a cross-origin resource sharing. So basically what it is, our browser prevent our web page from making requests to a different domain. Suppose I'm running my MVC application or .NET Core application that is localhost 500, 5000. Okay, and now my application introduce a Angular application for the front end. Their URL is different. So for accessing the APIs, the backend part, and connect our Angular application to the .NET Core application, both are different domains that do not allow the same origin policy. So we have to allow the codes in your application. Simply just pass the policy services.add codes, add policy, and pass the URLs that you want to access it, and app.use codes. Inject it into the middleware. So by this you can access your Angular application in your API application as well. Without this, you cannot use your Angular application. You cannot access the APIs, your backend APIs in your Angular application, because both are different origins. So this is the concept of cores that you can achieve at the global level. By this also you can achieve at your action level using the attribute enable cores attribute. You can achieve this. Next is tag helpers in .NET Core. I hope you have used the tag helpers. I hope you have used the HTML helpers in your MVC application. HTML helpers, like you have I can give you the example as well. Mm, like in the create account, this is my HTML helper. I'm passing the routing that it will hit the auth controller and then the test action method. This is my HTML helper. What problem comes with the HTML helper? Now suppose my routing is changed and these HTML helpers is placed in many places, is available in many places. So we have to do and change the routing at all the places. This is a very tricky task to do and very complex for the developers. So tag helpers come into the scene in the .NET Core feature with their own built-in controllers, also helpers. Also we can achieve the custom helpers. So you can achieve, like, this is the built-in ASP controller that gives the path of the controller. This is the action. You can give the path of the action method. Now I can show you the example as well. In the startup.cs file, you can see this is my default routing that will hit auth create account. So I'm just running it. Okay, it gives you a basic page, that is the registration page that I have created. Here you can see this is the test, that is the anchor link, that is the HTML helper. This one, this is the HTML helper, and this is the tag helper, and this is the tag helper. Currently it is working fine. I am hitting this one. Mm, okay, the routing, some problem with the routing. And even I can hit this one, it gives you the test, the same results. If I go and change the global routing, if I added here something, anything, I can, I have added this one. It breaks my global routing. Now if I run my application, okay, as I have changed my routing here, now it is not working, but it's still working. So this is just an example that how it gives you an advantage of using these tag helpers instead of HTML helpers. Any doubt in this? Else I'm moving to the next part. Okay. So comes up with the filters concept. Uh, I hope you have used the filters concept. So I'll just give you the glimpse. Filters are basically that allows your code to run before or after specific stages in the request processing pipeline. Filters are basically different types that you can achieve in your application. Authorization filters, action filters, request response filters, that is response filters, exception filters you can achieve. Yeah. So action filters, exception filters, result filters, these are the filters that achieve before or after some specific stages when in the request processing pipeline that handles. So authorization filter is basically like whenever any request comes, it will check the request is authorized or not. You can also use the authorize filter for this. Next, for this you have to use the authorization filter, sorry, interface to inherit this, to implement this. And for the next action filter, that is they have two methods, on action executing and on action executed method, and you have to use the interface iAction filter. Similarly, for the exception filters, you have to use the iException interface, and there is a two methods, on exception executing and on exception executed filters for handling the exceptions at the global level. And for the action filter, there you are handling the at the action level. Result filter, when the result is gone to the view page, it hold the request at this level and check the request before and after the specific stages. So this is just a glimpse of how you can use the filters, how you can achieve the filters in your application at the global level. Next, come up with the security in the .NET Core. So basically security is, there are different ways your hackers can hack your application. All you know about cross-site scripting, that is XSS. In this, hackers what it do? Hackers uh, in your application there is a registration form, suppose, and the hackers, what it do, they will pass the uh, some HTML, some JS files in your input text and hack your application by this way, by the HTML, by the JS files. So this is the cross-site scripting that hackers use. So you have to validate that part. You have to restrict that part, that no one can enter the HTML in your HTML or JS file in your inputs. You have to restrict that part. That is cross-site scripting. Similarly, there are SQL injections. Hackers put some SQL queries in your application in from the browser side and put and run that default run the SQL queries in your application in your database and hack your application. CSRF, that is cross-site request forgery. That means uh, cross-site request forgery, like suppose you are opening any bank site and some pop-up comes. So there is a restriction, like you don't have to click that pop-ups. That is a malicious pop-ups. And also I can give you example, while you are opening your any of your bank site, uh, you don't have means that means you have to make sure that you are not opening any other site like Gmail or anything in your browser when you are opening in your bank site. So by this you can by this hackers can hack your application. So for this you have to use the anti forgery in your application to restrict that part. So similarly, these are the some ways by this hackers can hack your application. Custom error page for error handling, version disclosure, enforce SSL. SGS means you have to restrict, you have to use the secure connections, you have to use the HTTPS, you have put it the improper authentication, session managements, you have exposed your sensitive data like the password you have to ensure that it must be in the password must be in the you have to use the restricted password, encrypted password. You have to ensure that you are using the audit trace. That means you are auditing all your information into it. File upload validations, you have to apply the custom validations means you have to apply your client side validations of your inputs. You have to apply the server side web validations. So these are the some things that by this you can achieve security in your .NET Core application and prevent from the hackers. Any doubt in this, guys? These are very big concepts I cannot achieve in this time because we are already lack of time. So you have to explore it more. I can give you just idea. Okay. So moving to our next part. Yeah. So this is the last concept, test cases using XUnit. I've already shown you a big concept of MS test with the live examples in my previous sessions, that how you can achieve the MS test, how you can write the unit testing in your application, write automated testers before bugs going to the production. That means this is the complete developer's task to run the test cases in your application and find out all the possible scenarios. Free to run as often as required, run at any time on demand or scheduled, quicker to execute than manual testing, find errors sooner. So basically, testing is of four types. If we go in the depth and the brief, there is a unit testing, integration testing, and these are the some basic that UI the QA will do, the UI and this one. So we will do two testing at the developer end, that is unit testing and the integration testing. What what the unit testing is? Unit testing is basically when you write some piece of code to test some functional functionality of your application. Let me show you the example. Here I am using, so here in the application, I have added the another project, that is the test project. So how you can do, just right click on the solution folder, just click add and the new project and search for the XUnit. Select this project, say yes, next, and name of your project. So here I have added this project. You can achieve this as well using the CLI commands that I told you in the first session of the .NET course, that how you can create your projects using the CLI commands. So now in this I have added the project. Now adding the reference, add under the dependencies, click on add reference and adding the reference of the our main application, that is the net core. Say okay, and here you can see I have one project, that is netcore. Now I've added a class, this one, player character. Here I have some properties like public int health is equals to 100, first name, last name, full name is a combination of first name and the last name, nickname, and is no. This is a boolean property. Now with the unit testing, this is my class. You can rename it and use the naming conventions to follow the to write the test cases. So this is my class name, unit test. For you in the MS test, we have to decorate our controller and the action method. Means our class and our action methods, our methods we have to decorate with the test class and the method with the test method. But with the XUnit, you have to use the fact keyword, fact attribute to use the XUnit in your application. So here I have added the test one. This is my first method, test method. Without this, this method is not treated as the test method. So here I have used the test one and I have give the reference. This is my player character. This is my class. I have created the object of this class. This creation of object, our unit testing use the concept of AAA. Okay, that is arrange, act, and asset. What arrange is? Arrange means we are initializing our object. We are creating the object of the class that we want to achieve, we want to use. So here I am using this class player character and I have created the object. So this, the things that we did, that is arranging. Then act, that is the second terminology of testing. So here I have initializing the object, I have given some values in it and calling the method, that is a part of act. So here I have put it the test dot first name equals to test. Now the third one is asset. That means we are checking that this result is correct or not. So in the asset we have multiple properties that we can use, like asset dot. It gives you a navigation property and gives you a many properties that you can use to achieve the asset concept. So here for the example I have used the asset dot equal, that checks that the result, that this is the result that we have passed. That means this is my expectation and this is my actual result. Actual result is act, that comes from the method. Expected result, that I want this result. Okay, so if I run, how you can run and how you can debug, just put the debug point here and just right click and click on debug test. It first builds the application. Here you can see this is my act and it gives the result. I have given you a very simple example. Our test cases are very complex. Depends on your method, your business logic. So this is my actual result that comes from after the act, and in the asset this is my expectation and this is my actual result. So it passed the result. It gives the test in group. One test is passed. If I pass here, my expectation is test 1, but the actual result come from after the act is test. So what it happens, here you can see currently test is passed, it gives you a green tick mark. Now I'm just simply not debugging it, I'm running it. Run test. It first starts building the project. Here, here you can see test is failed, one is failed because my expectation is uh, test one, but it comes as test. So result is failed. So by this way, it tests your application, and this is the only developer's task that developer will do. And here you can see this is the cross mark. That means our test is failed. So this is just an example that how you can achieve the test in your application. More detail is here, like how you can do some more deep into it. Like there are some more properties, asset.true, if you want to check that this property comes up with the true result or not, this property comes up with the false result or not. Equal is like we have three parameters, like suppose this is my expected value, this is my actual value. If you want to use, ignore the cases, like suppose test come up with the uppercase and my expectation is lowercase. So if you want to ignore that part, you can use this property. So by this way, these are the some properties you can dig into it. Asset dot matches, asset dot in ranges, etc, etc. So any question, guys? Before closing this session, I want to give you some task, some exercise if you want to do, because I've covered all the core concepts. If you go in my all four classes, four training sessions of the .NET Core, I've covered all the important sessions, all the important topics that is used in the .NET Core. So I can here I have created the basic software requirement specification exercises for you that you can do practice and create your own application. So this is the exercise that you can create the console application, the web application. So first I will give you, you can start working on the web application. I'm give you this thing in your chat box to everyone. You guys can start working on it and let me know if any problem face you guys face, then let me know. But start doing these things. This is the just a basic. By this you can create your .NET Core application After this, you are more confident on this, on not only on learning parts. This is all from my end.